Hello everyone. Welcome back to the smoke room. We're just gonna be continuing Nikolai's route. You know how it is. And we'll just get right into it. It looks like gravy. Gravy. What am I? What? Oh God! Right away. It looks like a gray, formless mass until Nick shines a light on the piece, which has streaks that sparkle like the stars in the sky. If you have not seen one before, this is what a silver vein looks like. Veins, kind of a strange choice for a name, ain't it? Strange how? It's just the world is all. Just the word is all. That makes me think of blood, not metal stuck in a rock. And blood pumps. It's always moving. If you find it in something, it means it's alive. it is interesting to me how often when we talk, you make me think about your language. Did I say something dumb again? I hope that's not a bad thing. Not at all. But vein is a very good word for this occurrence as a concept. Blood does flow through veins. Water flows through the cracks in the earth, carrying mineral sediments with it. Over time, those minerals crystallize, filling the cracks, leaving compounds between the ores. As we dig deeper, we are only following where the water once was. If you do not want to call these deposits veins, you could simply say we are following the seepage. I don't like that at all, actually. In fact, I hate that. He stares at me. Seepage, Samuel. What's a seepage? No, my phone's charging over there. Look, we're 2 minutes in and I'm already gonna Google something. You know how it is. How am I supposed to be an educated person if I don't look shit up when I don't know a thing? That's my line of logic. I think. I don't know. Okay. Earphones back in. Phone. See page.
Seepage.
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 Not seepage.
Seepage.
Seepage. Okay. The slow escape of a liquid or gas through pores. Yeah, pore material or small holes. The quality of liquid or gas that seeps out. Okay. That sounds reasonable, given the context. Okay. Where's my... Yeah, okay. What are you both doing? What are you both talking about? I flinch because I hear Yao's voice before I can see him. He's so quiet when he walks. Huh, just in time. I was going to show Sam the ore extraction techniques. Let me help you then. Those can get dangerous. He can just jump into it. I don't mind a demonstration before trying. Sure. The tools you should have on hand are pickaxes, a sledgehammer, a spike, matches, and a stick of dynamite. Picks are for softer rocks and packed gravel. The rest is for dislodging and breaking apart big deposits. I can barely see Yao crouch down and rustle with the bag. He comes back into Nick's light, holding a long, thick steel spike in his paw. I hold this while Nick embeds it into the rock with one good, strong swing. If I don't keep still, or he misses, and he could miss and crush my fingers. Excuse me? Nick hefts the sledgehammer behind his back, squeezing the handle, shifts his weight into his swing, pausing in the air just a bit. Now. Then he brings down. I look away and hear a horrible crunching noise. I think about the sable's hand. Oh, that's probably what happened. Wait, he said it was machinery, right? I don't remember. Wondering if this is if this is the way he lost it. You can stop looking away now. The spike is in. I open my eyes. The large spike looks like it's several inches deep into the wall. Why would you let him do that? Because he never misses. You can thank my hat. The light beam helps me focus, and the weight of it is just right. I'm not thanking your hat. It was just an expression, Samuel. You say that, but I know that you really love that hat. Still, you made it look so easy, but that can't be safe. You think this is our first time doing this? The head of the spike is wide enough that the hammer should never come in contact with your finger if you grab the center. Once the spike is in, all we have to do is place the dynamite in the crack and stand back, and let the wall crumble. So no one ever gets hurt doing this. We didn't say that. But the two of us have worked together long enough to coordinate our actions. There are ways to tap into it, too, but it takes much longer. With more swings, you can add more chances to make mistakes. Nick had told me stories about driving steel into rock before, and it always sounds exhausting. But I didn't understand how risky it was. If he hurt his or Yao's paws, they'd be out of a job. Nick does this nearly every day from dawn until dusk, for less than even what I make. I want you to hold the spike now, Sam. What? I know what I heard, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. Why? Nick's expressions turn stern. So you know what to do if somebody tells you to do this when we aren't here. I don't want to hold it. I understand. He leans in to me and whispers. I do not want you to either, but I cannot always be here. It will look suspicious if we're always together. They will eventually force us apart. That's why I want to prepare you for anything. Nick pulls the spike out of the rock and places it in my paw. The spike feels warm, warmer than I thought it would. And Nick's paws linger there, squeezing mine shut. Then he guides it to the surface of the rock. Remember, grip the center and hold it still. I nod, squeezing the spike harder than I mean to. On 3. He takes a step back. 1. He hefts the hammer into his shoulder. 2. He lifts it. I stare at it. Up at him. The blunt head of the hammer rises above me. It suddenly occurs to me that if Nick wants revenge for what I did to his former coworker, this would be the easiest way to do it. After all, these sorts of accidents happen all the time. No matter how hard I try, it's impossible to block out this place's dark, damp, earthy smell. And Jack's smell. The sharp tang from the iron is in my blood, and the acrid smell of acrid, right? Yeah. Smell of the shit from his gut filling his pants. 3. feel the rush of wind, then hear the crunch. The spike is embedded into the rock again, and I let go. I feel a slight tinge in my hand, tingle in my hands from the force of the blow, but that's all, really. My heart is thumping in my throat. Good, you let go. You never want to hold onto the spike once it lodges this far in. His hammer is spiked. He hammered the spike up to its head in the rock, then pulls the spike out. Now for the fun part. He cups his mouth with his hands and bellows out behind him. Blast! We hear the shuffling of feet and the rumbling of voices some distance away from us, moving further away still. When I say go, we go. He crouches and rustles with a pack on the floor, then puts the bag on his ground, retrieving a thin black capsule with a fuse clasped in his left hand. Then he holds the fuse to his lamplight. Wait for the hiss. The fizzle sounds of the sparks are unmistakable. Now place the dynamite in the hollow spike, and you run. He seems quite surprised to see that Yao and I are already a considerable distance away from him, so he breaks into a run to catch up. Yao pulls me by the sleeve around a barrier of rock and scaffolding behind of rock and scaffolding, and tells me to duck, and I cover my ears. The blast is louder than any gunshot I've ever heard. I can feel the weight from the explosion briefly in my knees, connecting to the ground. We could hear the rocks tumble over one on one another, and it continues for several minutes as the shattered vein crumbles and collapses, spilling out into sparkling clusters. So now what? Now we pick up the small pieces and put them in the cart. And we crush the larger pieces with a hammer until they are fit to transport. I feel like we spent hours crushing and hauling rock, loading them onto the minecart, pushing the cart to a cage for transportation, then unloading the rocks. About halfway through the pile, the foreman comes and drags Yao off somewhere for something else. So the rest of work goes even slower. I feel pretty uncomfortable by the time we clear the pile. My fur is slickens with sweat, and there's a thin film of dust and debris on top of that. There's a stiffness in each clump of fur when I move. I desperately need to wash up. Nick, I'm starting to think that holding that spike wasn't so bad. Oh? This work is nasty. I haven't been this dirty for only a few hours of work since I worked in my cousin's slaughterhouse. Is that so? You should expect for there to be a lot of dirt when you work underneath the ground. I don't mind it when it's all around me. I don't mind it when it's all around me. It's a different story when it's all up on me and sliding against me in places it shouldn't be. Well, we can clean you up when the lunch whistle blows. But still, I would not bother. You will get dirty again in the afternoon anyway. Oof. I see most of Nick's upper body lurch forward as he looks ahead, eyes widening with surprise. Then he lurches forward, nearly skipping to keep himself from toppling over. I put my hand in front of a mongoose who's yelling in a language that I don't understand to keep him from pushing Nick again. But then he starts pushing me. Hey, what's his problem? I don't know. I can't understand what he's saying either. But I could probably guess. Your friend takes up most of the tunnel. I look at the wall again. They're definitely exaggerating. You can push by us. The badger steps by, pushing his back awkwardly against the wall to give the mongoose and the blue jay room to run by. The mongoose does. The blue jay doesn't. Nick sounds a lot more quieter than usual. His face is impossible to read. Barely. I don't know what this asshole's problem is, but he's definitely wasting our time. You gonna walk past or what? We've got things to do. Everyone down here has things to do. Might be hell of a lot easier if your foreign friend ate less. Your mouth moves an awful lot for a party of one. And for somebody skinnier than most depictions of Christ on the crucifix. Blessed be his name. You slow or something? Please do not cause trouble on your first day, Sam. Since when do I cause trouble? The Blue Jay walks past all of us. Hey, what's this? The Blue Jay snatches Nick's hat and looks at it, hopping several steps back. This looks like a fire hazard. I think Foreman Moore should have a look at this. Nikolai has the Blue Jay against the wall. He's grabbing him with both arms, gripping tight, squeezing. Then he takes his hat back. You will not touch that. He grips both the Blue Jay's shoulders and slams it back against the wall. Not now. He slams again. Not later. He slams again. Not ever. He puts his hat back on his head, and the Blue Jay stumbles forward. I didn't notice until now, but Nick is actually heaving. The Blue Jay has a dazed sort of look, like he's confused to be where he is right now. Then he shook his head like he was lost. Is something going on over here? The Golden Retriever is standing behind us, walking up to the scene. Is something the matter, Nate? The Blue Jay just shakes his head and spits on the floor before turning to leave. He looks for Nick, and then to me. His expression sours. Oh, you again. What about me again? Now, I don't know what's going on, but I don't think we're off to a great start. Come again? Do you remember what your boss said? We do the work, we get paid. If everyone can't figure out how to get along, we won't get anything done. And now I see two of our good workers at each other's throats this early in the week. Are you an instigator, Mr. Ayers? Are you a foreman, Keys? I've heard his voice before. From the prior night. Oh, okay. Okay. It's Dimitri. Or should I keep pronouncing Dimitri for shits and giggles? It was the bear from the stag, the one Nick and Yao knew. Move along, Dimitri. This doesn't concern you. And management certainly doesn't concern you. You're still not a boss. Wait, he isn't? For some reason I assumed he was another foreman. That's really weird. I don't have to be a manager to care about the state of the men's morals. But it is a very real capacity you are not qualified to be here. Am I wrong, Keys? I have seniority over you men. And I have seniority and experience over you. Doesn't really mean a thing now, does it? Well, maybe it should. Though I have to say, there's a difference in having seniority as a grunt for 2 years versus having it for 10. I'm happy where I am. We've had a chat about how happy you and Hugh are with your life in 8 years. I have a hunch we won't be in contract by then. You're still young. I wouldn't trust too many of your hunches. Like, for instance, that fist you threw last night with your thumb pressed a position between your knuckles. Ben smacks the side of the minecart. Not here, not today. Let's have a clean day today. I want some orders on the 3rd floor. Then control yourself and lead by example. After all, it's all that you can do. Ben Shuff scoffs as he walks away in a moody swagger. You fellas alright? Of course. Well, I am anyway. But Nick, I can't really say. He's standing at the ground and his arms are folded. I hadn't ever really seen him that intense before. At least not in that way. I've seen him emotional in private before. And he's told me he's been in fights before. But I've never seen him grab a guy. Although, I guess he's grabbed me before plenty. But it wasn't like that. Something about that scared me. I hope he's alright. I guess I should be careful about touching his hat myself. I need a moment to gather my thoughts. A ghostly iron whistle blows through the tunnels. Just take care to bring them to the mess hall. Just take care to bring them to the mess area. You don't want to skip out on the best part of the day. You think that would be going home? That's at night. Oh, that's true. I guess. The bear is holding his chest as he rolls out in bursts of laughter at his own joke. It's the kind of laugh that reminds me of the embers crackling in the autumn campfire. I don't think you get what's important. But it doesn't sit right when somebody tells me you shouldn't find a way to be comfortable with a day of honest work. Trust me, when you get to a certain age, it's good to have something or other that keeps you busy. I never have trouble staying busy. Neither did I. Until later. He sends us a casual salute and wanders off down the tunnel. I've held us up long enough. We should go. I wouldn't get too concerned about me. I didn't pack anything to eat. Why would that make me less concerned? You must eat, Sam. I've skipped lunch plenty of times before. More importantly, more recently than before, to be honest. Some cornbread. Collards? Collards. What's collards? Huh. That's collards. Not bollards. I want collards. What would you be?
Collards.
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 Okay. A cabbage of a variety that does not develop a heart. So it's a heartless cabbage? What, related to kale and having a loose head of stalk. Okay. Huh. What does it look like? Huh. Okay. I've never eaten this before. I think I'm familiar with it, but I haven't eaten it. I think my sister likes this stuff, but don't know. And pork would be nice right about now. Well, we will ask some of the men to share. Or barter if we must. The mess hall, which is more of a dimly lit cavern with stools scattered about it than a hall, has a row of iron lockers against the beam and earthy wall. Nick walks up to a locker, twisting the knob on a combination lock, and stores his tools inside while withdrawing a tin pail with a handle. There is a very small, very yellow duck discreetly painted on the one side. I don't think I realized this before. Realized what? I shrugged. You know, how much you like ducks. There's nothing foul about a bathing waterfowl. I stopped walking. Excuse me? That was the first sentence I learned in this country's language. Oh. I think that makes more sense. More sense than what? The sentence being sentimental or more than, I guess, really liking ducks. What do you mean? I do like ducks, Samuel. He sounds completely serious right now. Everybody likes ducks. What kind of... I'm taking a screenshot of that. Yeah. What kind of sentence is this? Everyone likes ducks. Nick! What is this? I don't know if that's true. Like, I don't dislike ducks. I think ducks are perfectly fine. But I don't know. I feel like I've met people who hate ducks. And I know this is a rhetorical question. I'm thinking about this way too hard, but I don't know. I should just keep reading. He says that like it's a fact rather than an opinion. I'm not sure whether I should laugh with it an exception that he'll join in, or nod without cracking a smile. I go with the nod. I breathe in through my mouth and pretend to sneeze to mask that I'm trying not to laugh. Bless you. Thank you. It's lucky that it's dark. Good noon to both of you. Even in the dim light, it's hard to mistake Yal's brilliant fur pattern. He's sitting on a bench, slicing a piece of cured meat onto thick brown bread that's placed on top of his lunch pail. I tilt my head, looking for another small painting of a duck. Then I feel stupid when I don't find one. Are you alright? He's hungry. I don't think he knew that we had to pack his own lunch. I frown. I don't like this notion Nick had that it's a regular habit of mine to leer at somebody else's lunch like I'm a lunatic when I forget to prepare a meal. But it sounds less crazy than the truth. But I was looking for a duck. Here. The tiger holds up a slice of bread and meat to me. Thanks, but I don't feel pressure to offer. Don't feel pressured to offer me anything. I always pack more than I need. Why? Because this isn't the first time somebody has forgotten their lunch. Or had theirs stolen. When you're hungry and thousands of feet beneath the ground, you might agree to more than you normally would when you're out of options. That's why we have to be ready to feed those who need it. Or barter with those who don't. I ate the bread and the meat Yao handed me, which was very good, but very salty. Nick offers 2 hefty slices of kielbasa. Kielbasa. That's a sausage thing, right? Right? Do I know what that is? Yeah, I do. I hear my dad mentioning that every once in a while. Kielbasa. Yeah, it's like a sausage thing. Yeah. I think my mom uses it in certain stews and things. Kielbasa is the type of meat sausage from Poland and a staple of Polish cuisine. In American English, the word typically refers to a coarse, U-shaped smoked sausage of any kind of meat, which closely resembles the... What is this word? Wejska? Wejska sausage in British English. Sorry, I am mesmerized by this word. Yeah, what is this? I'm looking at this pronunciation thing, and I don't even know what I'm looking at. Vejska? Vejska. Okay, it's just another U-shaped sausage. Okay. What's it from? It's also Polish. Okay. Okay. Sure. Is Nick Polish? I know he's supposed to be like European, but European has like fuck ton of different countries. I don't fucking know. I tried to refuse, but he doesn't let me. We eat, filling one another in about the events of that we missed. Yao told us about how he had to replace one of the bands running the compressor so they could get the rock drill running again. Nick mentions the fight. Except, he doesn't mention what happened with his hat. I don't know why this bothers him. I don't know why this bothers him as much as it does. Who gave him it? What's the backstory of this hat? Is this like One Piece where like, you know, it's an old-time miner that Nikolai respects gave him that hat, and he's gonna return it to him like a decade later after becoming like the king of the miners. And that phrasing doesn't sound good, but but it might not be my business to know. I sit here and I wonder what would happen if I brought it up. Beckett. Which one was Beckett? He's the lizard. Sam Ayers. A rumble of all of the men's voices around me dampens under the foreman's booming voice, and I see a few heads turn in the source of the direction. I flinch when I hear the foreman say my name, then scramble to my feet. Yes, sir? I can't see much, but I can see a pair of glowing reptilian eyes staring at me from behind the clearing crowd and cramped bodies. Come speak with me. Nick whispers to me. It'll be fine, Sam. I want to believe that he's beaming a big, warm smile at me as he says this, but the truth is, I can't even see his face clear enough anymore in the low light. The noise from the men starts up again, and I move through the crowd. I can see the silhouette of the lizard jerking his head and see wandering the tunnel. It's pretty apparent from the motion of his tail that I'm supposed to follow. He takes me to a cage where there's a rather large crate sitting adjacent to the entrance. It's already been opened by a crowbar. What's this? Easy enough. He starts pulling items out of the crate. Brand new pickaxe. And a hammer, several spikes, a case of dynamite, some rope, and a card. A card, sir? He unfolds a nice piece of cardboard and then clears his throat. From one explorer to another. I hope you find what you're looking for, Samuel Ayers. Signed, James Hendricks III. So it did come today. Beckett Moore nods at me. So it did. This is a magnamented I feel like I should know that word, but I'm looking at it and it just looks like magnanimity. And I don't know if that's a real word. Mag... Nana... That word.
Magnanimity.
Magnanimity?
Magnanimity. Magnanimity.
Okay. Magnanimity. Magnanimity. Okay. The fact or condition of being generous. There, fine. Whatever. Generosity, I get it. Rarity best pony. We got there. Shall we call it? Doesn't tend to happen around here. He lowered his voice. If any of my boys saw you get a complete set of sparkling new tools, they'd have made a bitter enemy out of all of them. Now, I don't know if Hendrix loves you or hates you, because this is a mixed message if I've ever seen one. You honestly don't look like you're cut from the same cloth as most of the men down here. Save me the trouble and tell me your relationship with Hendrix. If you're one of his dandy friends, and this is some sort of bet to impress one another, I promise I can't care a whit, and I'll let you tend to your pride. But this is a dangerous area, and it's about to get a lot more dangerous. I don't know what to say. I feel that I'm about to sputter. Sir, I don't know this Mr. Hendrix well at all, really. He must took a shine to me. He's the reason I have a job here at all. I swear it. Beckett stares at me and nods. If you're lying, it's a wild one. I believe you. Because you're a damn fool if you're down here for any other reason than you're a hard worker and you know how to exercise a considerable amount of care in an active shaft expansion. Let's get you set up with the locker. I'll store the extra tools so it won't look like you got them all at once. Then, we'll pull you into action and we'll see what you can do. Is all this agreeable to you? Yes, sir. That's what I like to hear. I'll carry half of your equipment. Follow me for a while. He walks me back. He walks me back to a small lean-to, disappearing to lean-to, disappears into it, and then reappears with a small slip of paper. This is your locker combination. If you don't remember it, don't lose it. Okay. You can store what you aren't using for now, but you're going to need most of it. He guides me back to the mess hall and rings a big metal triangle. All right, listen up, men. Team Red, I want you to keep extracting vines. Team Blue, I want you to work on the same floor. The smelter needs extra hands. Team Yellow, and that's most of you, just follow me east. He taps me on the shoulder with the back of his wrist. That's you. I nod and I hoist my things as the large crowd of men walks toward and past me. I look around for Yao and Nick, waiting to see if they're coming, but they're lost in the large crowd. You coming, Ayers? I can't see them. Yeah. We walk about 10 minutes until we come to the mouth of the tunnel and empties into the abrupt end. I bump into something hard and cold and hear frantic flapping. It sounds like a little bird. With the rock chisel back in action, we're going to make a long expansion and an eastward tunnel. We still ain't drilling in vertical expansion? There was an edge in the tone of his voice. As much as I don't like the second guess you, Bennett, Ben might have a point. There's been an unusual amount of hazardous gases and water leaking in this depth. It's not the worst idea to try and a different path, I don't think. The assayers told us that there's an unusually small amount recovered here from the expected concentration in the water, so we're going to keep digging. We got unlucky with the aquicid. AQUICLUDE. Is there no pronunciation thing? Nope, it does not look it. An absolutely impermeable unit that will not transmit any water is a formation that has very low hydraulic conductivity and hardly transmit water. Okay. But with the water table is so low in these parts, we don't have to fear more flooding. Unless there's more aculids at this depth. Or some stupid fucker drills diagonally and up straight into Emma. But I think we noticed that. A lot of men laugh. A few of them just look confused and whisper to in more languages that I don't understand. At least I'm not the only one who feels a little lost. Nate can help with the detonation. And me, sir? The lizard pulls up his hat and scratches the under of his head. Make sure the drill cord isn't damaged and assist Nate with the explosions. The dog shifts the weight of his feet a little, as if he's expecting something else, but then he nods quickly. Sir, yes, sir. Dimitri, you gather up the rest of the men to extend the rails. Easily done. We're all told to wait outside of the tunnel while another blast goes off. We duck and cover for 3 explosions, hauling the shattered bedrock out of into small pieces. I noticed the rabbit from last night speak up. His Sonoran accent is a little thick, but that might be exacerbated due to the muffling from his handkerchief. I'll go fetch the wood. Of course you're fetching the wood. The stout Wolverine is here too. Because you know it would it would take me longer to fetch the spike. You're best at that. The best? You always know. You always know just what to say. The 2 of them went off. Are those 2 all right? Those 2? Better then. That's their dynamic. They like to give each other shit. I couldn't tell if that was a tease or not. If it was tense or not. You won't have that delusion for long. You'll know when Paul is angry. Like last night? So you do remember us. That's good. Hard to forget after what happened. Ben will have the hardest time forgetting, I imagine. They tossed him out of the stag for at least a week. He's bruised beneath the fur. But at least the poor boy's not limping. He's usually not so pretty after somebody tries to take on Paul. Though, looking at your muscles, you might stand a chance. I'd rather not get on anyone's bad side. And you won't, as long as you don't do anything stupid or dangerous. Those are like the two things that Samuel's good at, though. That doesn't comfort me much. Or egg us in overtime without demanding extra pay from the bosses. The bear lets out a dark chuckle. I don't think we're going to see Ben try and pull that again anytime soon. The bear hands me an extra shovel. We've got to dig straight through, about 4 inches deep, so nothing too complicated. Seems simple. Simple's fine for me. So let's chat to pass the time while we work. What's your story? I dig my shovel deeper into the ground. Ain't got much of one. Everybody has a story. Who says you get to read mine? You first, then. Well, unlike our friend Ben, I was a soldier. For, Ruthenia, right? No. Not for Rus people. For this country, I immigrated when I was very young. So how come you aren't there now? After getting more than my fill of violence, I decided I wanted to build more than I wanted to fight. And their engineering COs believed I was better at the battlefield than with a wrench. Of course, I did not take their advice to heart. So, when my time was up, I finished for good, and I've been here since. Must have been a boring change of pace, comparatively. You'll come to appreciate boring after seeing the things I've seen. He starts to whistle. Though, there are far more boring places to be than the bottom of a mine. This one boring you with his war stories? The Jackrabbit and the Wolverine were back, each carrying a sack respectively. No. Good, because he's a beast. A downright demon. Don't let his doleful eyes lure you into a false sense of security. If you're going to talk about my eyes, you could use any word other than doleful. The Wolverine sets a big sack of metal tracks on the floor. Mark my words. You watch yourself if you cross this old soldier. He knows death better than any of us. You end up between his paws and he'll shred your hide like it was warm butter. Please do not mind us, Paul. He likes to lie on purpose. As opposed to lying on accident. And there's a lie. And there's a lie itself. The Jackrabbit rolls his eyes. All right, it's time to get back to work, boys. We can pack up the earth down and place planks 2 boards apart. You can measure the gap with a ruler if you want, but this saves a lot of time, and it's just as efficient. Dimitri shows me how to pull the rails together. With iron pieces and already designed to lock, and spikes driven through the holes in the metal to bolt them down to the earth. By the time we have 20 feet of railing, I'm surprised that several hours have already rolled by. I'm surprised how long this takes. He chuckles. It will take time if it's wrong and we have to redo it. I crouch down, hinging my knees and wipe the sweat from my brow. As dark and dirty and dangerous as everything has been today, the experience has been, well, relatively normal. As far as I could tell, Nick and Yao keep one another safe. Maybe you're fine as long as you're not alone. Then again, it's nowhere near the witching hour, even if it is underground. Foreman wants to see you, Ayers. Of course, this guy comes to me on the first break I'm taking. For what? Can't say, but you should come along now. All right. I give my new coworkers a half wave and opening my palm. Be right back, and hopefully soon. They're a bit focused on their work still to notice. It's strange to think that the tunnel we're walking down now is about 10 times the length that it was when we started today. Stabilizing beams that weren't there earlier was already finished. Beckett is sitting at the end of the tracks, looking grumpy. You keeping up with the work, Ayers? Laying tracks down as ain't so bad. Good to hear. Good to hear. Unfortunately for me, the rock pick is shitting itself again, so we have to blow up the bedrock the old-fashioned way. Oh. Oh no. I want to see if you're capable of handling a controlled blast. The lizard took a pick out of his pocket and placed it at an angle at knees height at the bedrock in front of us. Pick up a sledge, Ayers. I do. It's not the heaviest thing, but I've ever held, but it sure feels like it's trying to drag me down to the earth with its weight like nothing I've ever touched before. Sir, are you sure you should be the one holding the pick? I don't see why not. Everyone has to do it at some point. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. He's a novice, though. He could really mess up your hand. Keys, you've been off all day. Sir? Why do you think I'm asking him to hold the sledge right now, and not you? If he's going to work here, he needs to learn how to do this. I'm sorry, sir. You're right, sir. He looks at me. Put one foot in front of the other and bend your knees. Then, stare at the tip of the pick. I follow his instructions as best as I can. Very good. Now lift the hammer. It's so fucking heavy. Easy as she goes, Ayer. Easy as she goes. My palms are starting to sweat as I look at his scaly hands. Then, I keep my eyes on the tip of the pick, like he says. Now swing. I hesitate. Swing! I bring it down and hear the crunch. Beckett raises from the floor. Perfect hit. Now, just tap it in, gently like. I beat into the rock and Beckett nods again. That'll do it. I exhale. This rock's a big one, so we need another hole on the other side. God fucking damn it. I know what's coming next. I want you to hold the spike this time. I feel numb as he explains what Nick had explained to me earlier. I still don't like the idea of this. I don't care how skilled or used to somebody says that they are. But I tell myself that what I did last time. It's only a week. Beckett points out the area he wants to steal, the steel driven, takes the hammer from me, and drives me with this, and gives me the spike. I place my hand where it's supposed to go, and wait for Beckett to get in position. Hey, Mr. Morse! Yes? Let me drive the steel this time. What? What's wrong with this guy? I don't think so, Keys. You've been off all day. I promise I'm not. Just let me show you that I can handle this. Besides, with the pick at the compressor acting up this much, I'm going to need the help anyway. Alright, fine. What? No, not fine. Should I say something? Would they think I'm just being paranoid about this man who, in total fairness, has put his whole lot of inconvenient positions through no fault of my own? But still, I swallow my own spit, and I see the dog get in position and heft the sledgehammer. He gives me a nod and and has a calm expression. But then I see every muscle in his face frown and tighten. His brow is tightly wrinkled. His eyes bulge with a sudden force of white-hot anger than I could feel in my bones. Every instinct I have ever felt told me that I was in the presence of evil, and that if I stayed still, I would die. As he begins to swing, he takes 2 steps forward, and I can tell that his eyes are not on the head of the spike. They're on my forearm. So I drop the spike and take 3 steps back as his sledge makes contact with the bedrock, knocking a good piece of it off. Ben looks at the sledgehammer's head, almost surprised to see it hadn't made contact with anything. Beckett takes it from him. What the hell was that stance?
That's how I usually drive the spike in.
Are you sure? The way Beckett phrased this didn't make it sound much like a question. That was sloppy, and that was reckless.
I've never caused any problems for me. With all due respect, sir.
I don't blame Ayers for dropping the spike. But Ayers. He exhales. That was dangerous too. An impact with the sledgehammer that can cause a break-in, a cave-in, or it could bounce off the rock and bludgeon your organs. I've seen both of those happen. He shakes his head again. My gut was right about your stance, about your stake keys. I don't have time for mistakes like this.
There wouldn't have been a mistake if Nate was holding the spike, sir.
I'm not interested in ifs. You're on beam duty, Ayers. You're back on the rails. Right away. I start walking as fast as I can. Something tells me that this man is looking at my back, at the back of my head, but I don't want to look behind me and meet his eyes if he is. I don't know what's wrong with this man, but I do know that I shouldn't be near him while we work. My heart is racing when I get back to Dimitri, Philippe, and Paul. Dimitri seems to notice that something's wrong and asks, but I don't address it, knowing that Ben is probably in earshot. I just want to be done with this day and work as quickly and quietly as I can. I don't have much energy or focus left by the time the work whistle blows. I think that's a decent place to stop this part, alright? So, yeah. I'll see you around.